Hey, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Shays Eats. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I have been thinking about all the areas that I can improve in my life. Obviously it's January, it's the best time to do this, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one that's been doing it. However, for the past, I'd say this is the 3rd January. For the past 3 Januaries, I have always come into the new year in debt. I'll give you a bit of background about myself. So as you can see, the title says that I've got £50,000 worth of debt and I only earn £1,100 a month. Now, this is my situation with a bit of extra added, but generally the last time I was debt free was before I graduated from uni. So I graduated in 2016, and one of the first things that I did was I got a credit card. Why did I get a credit card? This is because I wanted to build up my credit score. I think we were always told that, yep, you need to have a good credit score. You can't do anything if you don't have a good credit score. You want to buy a house, your credit score needs to be on point. You want to take out a car, your credit score has to be on point. Like, it's always been drummed into my head that you need to make sure your credit score is good, so that all the things you want to achieve in future, you're able to achieve them. There's nothing stopping you. If you see me looking down, I've got my book of notes here because I don't want to miss anything out, because I think finance and financial well-being is really, really important. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my debts and how I got here. So I've been a bit cheeky with the title. Some of my debt is student loan debt. There was no way I was going to be able to afford the cost of tuition and living costs before I went to university. So I had to take out student loans, and I've actually just had a look at my student loan total, and it is £43,159.26. Now, the way student loan and student finance works in the UK is that the government will give you a loan to cover the cost of your tuition fees, so that you don't ever see that money that goes between the government and to your university. And then you will have, back in my day we had student grants and we had a student loan. So what's called? The grant was one that was given to you by the government and that you didn't have to repay. So that was based on your household income, and the other one was also, the other loan was then added to your tuition fee loan. So I wasn't eligible to get a grant, so I use my student loan, for my day-to-day expenses, paying for accommodation. So I've got my student loan, and the way this works, my plan before they changed it, is that once you start earning over £21,000, they take 9% of your salary after the personal allowance threshold, and so that money comes out of my account every single month. I don't even see it. It comes up to about 20-30 quid, and the idea is that obviously the more you earn, the more you pay back from your of your loan, and it's basically like a graduate tax. That's how some people have described it, because you don't see it, you can't miss something that you've never had. I have that sitting over my head, a different kind of debt, and I think that is a good debt because I know that doing my degree has allowed me to get to where I am now, and it will still be of use to me in the future. It's a starting point for my future career. So I don't really count that. I'm not too worried. I'm personally not too worried about that debt. I'll go into my next one now. So my next debt is my credit card. So as I said, once I graduated from university, I got a credit card, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy this, gonna buy that, but I'll pay it off every month. And it became a habit where I would buy things on my credit card and I'd pay it off, but there were times that, you know, I wasn't living it within my means. That's the bottom line. I think like, oh yeah, I want some Chinese, Just Eat. Oh, I need some new shoes, ASOS, next day delivery. And before I knew it, my credit limit increased. So the very first credit card I ever got was a Nationwide credit card. Of course, Nationwide was the bank that I was with since, that was my very first ever account when I first got my very first job. That was the very first credit card that I took out. My limit was for about £1,500, and I was like, whoa, look at me, no credit history, got £1,500, it's lit. I was really good at paying off my credit card. However, I noticed that since, and this is still true to this day, I got my credit card in, I'd say, about July 2016. July 2016, and there's not been a month that has gone by that I've not been paying off some sort of credit card payment. So I'm going to speak about my credit card debt. So right now I'm in about £2,900 worth of credit card debt, and whilst my total debt might have been a little bit doctored, my salary is as the title says. And so what I found is that every single month I've had to pay a significant amount of money towards paying off my credit card, and that's been that way for nearly 3 years. Saying it like this sounds mad, and I'm really disappointed, but this is how it is. This is what has happened. I have literally been living beyond my means, and as a result, the things I should have done, or the kind of situation I should be in, I'm not in. So I'll give you a bit of my background. I still live at home with my mum. There's no way I can afford to move out. I work in London. I'm not based in London, but I work in London. I pay for a season ticket loan, nearly about £400 a month. I pay for my phone bill. I pay my mum like a little something. And that's it. All of my expenses are to do with me. I don't have any children, don't own anything. I don't have anything, that takes any money from me. It's me, myself, and I. And obviously this is an amazing position to be in. I don't take it for granted. I'm really grateful that I'm able to live at home. I don't need to worry about, bills, or I just need to I need to worry about taking care of myself. And I've been at home. It hit me. I have been at home for nearly 3 years, and I do not have anything to show for it in terms of savings. And I think I've always had money has never been a thought on my mind, really. And I thank God that I've never had to lack for anything, so I've always taken it for granted. But obviously, financial management is not something that you're taught in school. It's something that you find out one way or another, and I think that I'm learning the hard way. So I've amassed this £2,900 credit card debt, and I also have an overdraft. So that is an overdraft that I got with my student account with another bank, and that has saved me from many a tight time. This interest-free overdraft, and so it's been really beneficial to have that. And I'm coming up to the end of that overdraft facility being free for me, and right now it's a £200 overdraft that I'm currently in. So as I said before, I think I've got into debt because of living beyond my means. That's the bottom line. I've always had the thought that, oh, it's alright, I can buy it now and then I'll cover it next month. But what would happen is I'd continuously do that, end up having no money because I've used that money in advance before I had it, and then by the time I'm in that next month, I'm obviously short, and it's a continuous cycle. It's literally been about 3 years since I've been doing this, and I thought to myself that, no, this is something that I can't do. I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to have financial control of myself. A past colleague of mine showed me and introduced me to Dave Ramsey. He has a program, about a 1 to 10 step program, that ultimately allows you to clear your debt and to live a life of financial management where you're prepared for emergencies. I personally have not taken on board all the things that Dave Ramsey has said. However, I do think there's merit in his approach. So the first thing is to clear your debts. So I've listed out all my debts. I personally am not too worried about my student loan, because that is something that, as my salary increases, I'll be able to pay it off. I'll be able to pay more off. And obviously there's a lot of interest accumulating on that. But that is something that in the short term I'm not focusing on. I would like to focus on my short-term debt. So my biggest debt is my credit card debt. And I have been using a couple of tools to allow me to see where exactly my money is going to, so that I can plan ahead. I want to live within my means. It's so important to live within your means, and I think that this is something that I've always heard. And sometimes you do have to go through a process. You do have to feel it before you hear it, because the saying, if you don't hear, you'll feel. Your girl's feeling it. I've been broke since forever, and I'm tired of it. Like, I actually don't want to owe any more money. I don't want to be paying credit card debts. I'm 23 years old, nearly 24, and I want to buy a house. I want to make sure that I've got money for an emergency. So, I want to get my act together. This is 2019. Obviously, it would have been better for me to have done this last year, but the next best time to do something is now. If you've missed if you've missed it in the past, you can't change the past, it's happened. Let's look forward, let's look to now. This is going to be my plan going forward. So my biggest debt is my credit card debt, and each month I have allocated £500 towards clearing that debt. I've rounded my debt up to £3,000. I will pay off my credit card debt in the next 6 months. By June 2019, I would have paid off my credit card debt and also my overdraft facility debt. That's my first goal. My second goal is to also have an emergency fund. So an emergency fund is a fund that your car breaks down, you need to go somewhere quickly. An emergency fund is your fund that you go to for emergencies. I want to get into the mindset of an emergency, not meaning credit card, not meaning overdrafts. Emergency means a fund that I've saved up for this exact purpose, so I don't fall into the trap of using credit, using overdraft, using money that I don't want to have. I want to be prepared for that situation where I don't have money and use those funds instead. To do this, I'm using a number of different apps. The first app I got is Monzo, and I'll show you what Monzo is. So I'm pretty sure that everybody knows what Monzo is. Monzo is a disruptive bank, and it has the ability to let you see where exactly you're spending your money, whether that is on clothes, shoes, you eat out, whether it's gambling. Monzo will break down every single part of your spending, show you where you're spending, how much, if this is an increase from the last month or decrease. It allows you to live by a budget. It allows you to save. It has the option to actually lock a pot, so that means you can't touch that money. So you can set, what I've done is I've got a pot. I'll show you my pot. And this is my emergency fund pot. You can see that this is the amount. I've got an emergency fund goal of £2,000. And all my spare change, so when I buy an item, Monzo will round it up and all that extra change goes into that pot. So whilst you're spending, you're saving, and you can imagine how much that will add up to by the end of the year. So I can't take money out of this pot until the 31st of December later on this year. So I want to reach my goal of £2,000. I've also started the penny challenge. So every single day you transfer over a penny in relation to the day of the year. So on the 1st of January you put in 1 pence, the 2nd of January 2 pence, 3 pence, 4 pence, and so on. By the end of the year you should be able to save £667 and I believe 57 pence. So I'm going to do that. I've also created some standing orders from my main account. So Monzo is not my main account. This is my spending account. So I've got standing orders set up to be transferred automatically every month. So I've got some coming into my Monzo, I've got some coming to a different account. So I want to have, I also have another account that is also accumulating interest and saving money on a monthly basis. So I want to get rid of the money before I see it, because I think we all know that when you see that you got money, you know, you feel more inclined to use it. I want to get rid of, I've trained myself to think that I don't have the money. I do have the money, but it's money that I need later and not now. I've also got an app called Fudget, which I will also show you. So Fudget is a budgeting app. Each month I put in my salary that I'm expecting for that month, and then I put in all my outgoings. So just for example, for January, I've got £500 coming out of my credit card. My mobile phone is £73 because I had to go over I went over my data, so I had to buy more data. I'm paying too much for my phone, I know that, but I can't do anything about that for now, but it's okay because it's a cute phone. I've got my hair, things that I always have to pay for, so my hair, my bus pass. Unfortunately I can't afford a car anymore, I had to get rid of that, but that's absolutely fine. You have to sacrifice to get onto the road of good financial management, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Don't worry if that's you as well. It's alright, you gotta do what you gotta do. There's a time for everything. Like I said, I give my mum some monthly money. I pay for Spotify. I've also got insurance that I pay for, that's about £12.50. And even as I pay back my debts, I'm still saving. So I've set up a standing order to go to my mum every single month. And as I'm making my own savings, I know that I've still got those savings there ready. I also have money, a standing order going to my emergency fund of £50. So by the time the year is done, I will have £600 at least, which will really be helpful for my emergency fund. I also have a Marcus account, so that is an account that has been created by Goldman Sachs, and so this has one of the highest interest rates on the market at the moment. And so again, I've just put about a tenner each month just to go there automatically. I also have my Oyster card cost, so now I'm going to be studying, and so I'll be needing to get on the train, and so I've rounded up to about £25 for this month. So my total expenditure is £988.50. This will leave me with £154.50 for the month. That gives me roughly about £38 per week to live on. The things that you do on a daily basis are the things that add up in the long run. We go through each year, day by day by day, but before you know it, it's 100 days, 200 days, 300 days, 365 days, and then in December we're like, wow, this year has gone by so fast. So I'm realizing that it's the little things I do on a daily basis that will help me get to where I want to be. And so that means packing my food the night before, not saying, oh, it's calm, I'm gonna go to Sainsbury's and buy their chicken wings. It's about being organized, being prepared. And I'm not sitting here saying that it's easy. I know it's not, but I think that financial well-being and having the ability to be financially mature is so important in order to achieve things. Also, I want to buy a house, I want to get a deposit ready. There are things that I want to achieve, and I know that this is such a common, this kind of issue is so common. I see it all the time. People got their Gucci belts, they got their Chanel bags, they got Givenchy, Balenciaga, every single new thing somebody's got. And I'm just like, wow, okay. What am I doing wrong? Like, why don't I have money? And it's like, all these things, there's nothing that's impossible to get. It takes discipline. It takes having the ability to have a high earning power. God gives you, if you can't be trusted with little, then how are you going to act with a lot? I think now is the time to hone in the skills, financial management, become better at taking care of your money, looking after your finances, getting those good habits into your mind, so that when I'm in a position where the money's doubled, because it's gonna be triple, it's gonna quadruple, I still have those good habits. And I want to really document this journey. Shay's Eats is still about food, about cooking, eating out. However, you can't eat out if your finances aren't right. And my finances haven't been right for a very long time, and I've had enough. I want to get out of it. I want to get out of debt. I want to have savings. I want to be financially well, and I'm going to be documenting it on my channel. I think this is such an important topic, and it's really important to be open about it. There's no shame in it. Everybody makes mistakes. However, there's no point in sitting and wallowing in your mistakes. Do you know what I did a few days ago? I cut up my credit card. I will admit that this is not the first, second or third time that I've cut up that credit card. However, I don't want to be doing that anymore. From now on, I don't want to be in debt anymore. I'm sure you're watching this video, you probably don't want to be in debt anymore. And there's no shame in being open about your finances. You are not alone. There are other people who are also on this journey. Shay's Eats also cares about money, about financial well-being. I hope that you can join me on this journey. I'm looking forward to seeing how it progresses. Thank you so much for watching this video.